Hello, Aquano here, and we're back for another Orbment slash build guide for Trails in the Sky first chapter. And today we are tackling chapter 2, the Ruan arc. So I did a video for the boss arc a couple days ago, and I want to do the one early because I've seen that people are progressing through the game very fast. So I'm speeding up. This time I want to talk about orbments, quartz. But not only that, I want to give some recommendations in terms of accessories, because that also plays an important part in how you build your character. So, we're going to be going through the 4 characters that you see here. I am going to be including Agate, even though he is not playable for most of the chapter. But for the hardest bosses of the chapter, he is playable, and you can customize him, even though you don't have access to the Orbment shop to unlock his last slot. So yeah, I will still be talking about him because you can modify his orbments and his equipments. So like and subscribe to support your boy. I made a bunch of other Trails guides, so if you don't want to miss the next Trails guide, make sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk about the preparations you need to make to get all these builds. These builds require basically the best quartz you can get at this stage of the game, and it will require every single slot opened except obviously Agate's last one, because you can't open it at this stage of the game. But if you haven't watched any of my previous sepith farming videos, this time I decided to make a very short section about it and not an entire video about it. So I will simply tell you the location of the sepith farming cave, and if you're really not sure about how to farm the sepith, then I recommend watching my video about the sepith farming in the prologue or the chapter 1. The method is pretty much the same, it's just that in this chapter you can use Titanic Roar with Kloe or Joshua's second S-craft, Black Fang. But the method stays the same. Here is the location of the cave. Obviously, you cannot go to it right now if you're at the same stage of the story as I am. But as soon as you unlock the ability to roam the entire region of Ruan with your 3 characters, you should farm some sepith if you don't have enough to buy all the quartz you need. The location of the cave is south of Ruan. So here you point your map north, and then south of Ruan you need to go to the other side of the bridge, and then go up. And you will see a branching path, one that brings to the tower, one that brings to Erlitten, a military base. And if you go right before Erlitten, you see here an opening that brings you to the sepith farming cave. So yeah, if you don't have enough sepith for the builds I'm going to show in this video, make sure to go in that cave and farm the sepith with the method I've taught you guys in my previous 2 sepith farming videos. So now let's start with the actual build guide, starting with the first party member, Estelle Bright. Okay, let's start with Estelle. And small disclaimer before before I actually show you guys the build. Even though the title does say best orbments, keep in mind that different players have different playstyles, and there's no one absolute answer. If the build you've been doing works for you, then it works for you. You can just take my advice for one character and not the other. Also, there's always going to be some Trails veteran that disagree with me on some stuff, and it's fine. It's fine. Every build I've showed you guys have worked for me in nightmare difficulty, so I am confident in my advice. But it's okay to disagree, and I don't pretend knowing the absolute best build and truth. But I find it very fun to min-max shit, and that's why I'm sharing my builds with you guys. I will also sometimes be giving more than one choice, so just take the one you prefer. And without further ado, let's take a look at Estelle's build. So Estelle has a very important role in the party, and a role she does best. So Estelle doesn't have any elemental requirements when it comes to any of her slots, therefore she is a jack of all trades. With the right bottles, these ones, the droplets, you can pretty much build her however you want. But the best way to build Estelle, in my opinion, is a supportive tank. Because of her morale ability, she also has, well, let's just take a look at it, right? Why would we want to build her as a supportive tank? It's because she has access to buffing, and then she has access to a guaranteed impede on the enemies. So she can cancel enemy spells, buff your allies, and she is relatively versatile. So the best way to build her is as a tank, because she doesn't do as much damage as big physical hitters like Joshua and Agate. And she also doesn't do as much magical damage as big arts casters like Kloe and Olivier. So I think the best choice is to build her as a tank, and the thing is, you kind of are forced to play her throughout the entire game, so you have to find what's best for her. And the central orbment for this Estelle build will be the aroma quartz. So the sweet aroma quartz, just equipping it by itself gives you access to so many spells. It has 3 elemental values of the 4 basic elements in the game, and equipping it in the first slot is important because that will give both of your lines a lot of elemental values. Now, where do you get Sweet Aroma? In case you haven't found it, because it can be easily missed, it is found in the way that is between the between the academy and this intersection here, this whole route. Make sure to get every single chest. One of them is the aroma. If I'm not wrong, it's this one, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I am 100% sure that it's one of these 4 chests, so make sure to grab every chest in the area to make sure you don't miss anything. And without further ado, let's continue our Estelle build. So sweet aroma is mandatory. After that, you'll want the action 2 quartz, because that is a necessary quartz. It's basically one of the most have quartz. You need this quartz on pretty much every single character, unless you really cannot fit it if you're going for like a big arts on either Olivier or Kloe. But even then, try to make action 2 fit. I didn't have action 2 on a couple characters in chapter 1, but that's because like it worked for me and I was kind of greeting for other arts. But realistically, you really want action 2 on every single character. The small little exception would be Olivier and Kloe for sometimes, that even then I don't recommend. So action 2 here, it is basically a must-have. After that, let's focus on the right side of the Orbment. You want a combination of EP cut 2 and HP 2. Why is that? First of all, it makes you extremely tanky, and that's because of 2 things. First of all, we are playing her as a tank, and second of all, because we're playing her as a tank, we want to give her the Skull Pendant Plus. The Skull Pendant is buyable from the shop, and you can equip it in the Orbment shop to give you an accessory that gives 2000 HP and resisting death blow. This is a must-have accessory on Estelle, because as a tank, getting one shot by a insta-kills move is insanely bad in terms of value. Imagine you're giving your tank so much HP, so much resistances, and then he gets one shot by a death blow skill. Like, you really don't want to happen, and the Skull Pendant gives you 2000 HP, which is insane. It almost doubles your HP. So, yeah, this is a must-have for the Estelle tank build. Another accessory I really like on Estelle is the Colorful Scarf. The colorful scarf gives her 15 on both defenses, 15 strength in case she wants to do some physical damage with her ult, and most importantly, 7 speed. 7 speed is very good. Stacking speed on characters is very, very good, so she can act as often as possible. Now, Estelle is a support, and she will be using her crafts very often, but from time to time, she will be casting arts. Now, her ATS is really not that good compared to other characters, but she can be, you don't need good ATS to cast supportive arts. So we're gonna simply equip the Cast 2. So Cast 2 will serve us as a way for Estelle to quickly cast supportive arts during turns where she doesn't need to use Morale or Comet or anything else. She will be mostly casting Latira to heal, but also mostly using Earthguard to shield your team. Earthguard requires 2 Earth, 2 Mirage, and shields your entire team for 1000 shield. So this, coupled with the healing abilities of Kloe, can make your team live for very, very long. Now, what do we want for our last slot? We have multiple choices. The first obvious choice, as for the tank build, would be Defense 2. Defense 2 is very good. Now it gives you access to Stone Impact here, we don't really care, but Defense 2 is very, very good. The second one would be Septium Vein. If you want to, if you don't really care about the small extra defense, you could go for just extra sepith, why not? By the way, make sure to equip this when you are grinding. Now, the other really good choice, if you are not already using it on another character, is the... Where is it? It is the Golden Shield. The Golden Shield is crazy. It gives her 50 defense, 50 ADF, and it gives her CP recovery in case she goes for she goes low HP. CP regeneration is very good because she wants to be casting morale every time it runs out, and comet to cancel spells, etc. This also gives her access to Clock Up EX, which coupled with her EP Cut 2 and Cast 2, she can cast it pretty consistently on herself and also her allies. So this makes her the ultimate support. She can heal your team, she can boost their defense and attack and CP regen at the same time. She can give a shield to your team, and she can Clock Up EX your team, which is one of the best supportive arts in the game. So she becomes kind of the wall of the team that is here to stay alive and support your team, make them stronger, faster, tankier. This build makes Estelle, a mediocre jack of all trades, transform into a reliable pillar that supports your entire team. So yeah, I am very confident about this build. I really like it. Tank, support Estelle. Kind of like a paladin build. So that was it for Estelle. Let's move on. Now it's time to talk about Joshua. And the name I like to give for this Joshua build, like I said, Estelle's build for me is like a paladin, a tank support. For Joshua, I would say he's kind of like a suicide bomber. He's like basically your nuke. So he will be very squishy, the squishiest character on your team, mainly because his most important quartz and the obvious one is attack 2. Attack 2 gives you minus 10% defense, but plus 10% strength. And we will be stacking a lot of strength on him, mainly with the attack 2, hit 2, and break 2. These three quartz together give him a lot of extra strength. This 40% plus the 10%. The 10% stacks on all of his attack, so it is crazy. Now that we talked about these 3 mandatory quartz to stack his strength, let's talk about his 2 time slots that he has to fulfill. So the first one is obvious, Action 2. Action 2, like I said, is a must-have. First of all, if you don't have an Action 2 quartz on a physical attacker, you're trolling. And second of all, if you don't have an Action 2 on pretty much any character, it's not as good. So let's take a look at his next slot. So here you have a choice between Cast 2, Blind Blade, Dark Shield. I personally like Dark Shield because it's 7 speed. 7 speed is very crazy. The Dark Shield gives him speed and movement up when critical health, and it gives him some water value to cast some water spells in case you need it, or Latier. Now keep in mind, most of the time you will be unleashing big flickers to delay the enemy turns and unleash a huge nuke with Black Fang. His Black Fang S-Craft is the reason why we're playing him as a suicide nuke bomber. It's because you just want to do as much damage with this. Whenever he has 200 CP, buff him with Estelle's morale, and then unleash this thing upon the enemies. On boss fights that have like more than 3 enemies, this is a godsend ability. Against the Raven boss fights, it is very useful. Now, what do you want for his last slot? You have multiple choices. You could technically try to remedy the minus 10% defense by giving him defense 2. You could try giving him HP 2 to make him less squishy. This gives him 400 more HP. But if you want to really commit to the suicide nuke build, give him Strike 2. Strike 2 will allow him to hit very hard. Also, in case if you want like a strong spell to use whenever you get the Arts 0 AT bonus, remove Strike 2 from here and put it over here instead of Hit 2. And there we go. Having Strike 2 and Attack 2 on the same line allows you to unlock Firebolt EX. Because, you know, Joshua does have a usable ATS stat. So whenever you have the Arts 0 bonus, it's a free Firebolt EX on the enemy's face. So this is the build. Let me know in the comments if you like the Suicide Joshua build. Obviously, it's a bit risky. I mean, it's very risky. I personally just like to nuke the enemy as soon as I have 200 CP. And if I die, I just revive him with my my tank and my support. The reason why the Suicide build is especially viable in this chapter is because, first of all, you have access to Estelle tank with Sweet Aroma. She can catch some aggro from Joshua to help him survive. And the second one is because you have Kloe. And Kloe, she has, I don't know how to pronounce this, Lift the Christ. Yeah, whatever. She can just quickly use this to revive any ally on the field and heal all their HP, give them a shield. It is absolutely bonkers of an ult. It is basically a reset button. So this, with Estelle's ability to take aggro, allows this Joshua suicide build to shine. Now, let's talk about equipments. What kind of accessories do you want? First of all, I like giving him accessories to give him speed, because he does have like a support ability that increases his speed by a lot. You can make him very fast with action to unleash a bunch of physical attacks in a row. So the main accessory you want on Joshua is the victory headband. You get the victory headband from achieving a certain rank as a bracer. It's rank 6 maybe, something like that. Anyways, you can just check you can check out the reward list in any bracer branch, but make sure to get the victory headband and make sure to upgrade it at the Orbment shop to get victory headband plus. This gives him 30 strength, which is crazy, 30 defense, which kind of helps him survive, and accuracy plus 100%. This is a godsend, because if you miss your physical hits, you're not much of a physical attacker, right? So you really want this. CP rate plus 60%. This is so broken. This is so broken. Every CP you gain is increased by 60%, which stacks with Estelle's morale, stacks with any CP you get by taking shit or hitting stuff. So it is very, very good. Couple this with the green sphere. The green sphere is very important. It gives him a very useful 5 speed and 5 crit, 5 evasion in both in case you have to dodge hits, because you know you're not very tanky, so being able to dodge sometimes can be useful. But the main reason why we want this is because of the speed, and because it makes him resistant to blind and sleep. Especially blind. You don't really want to get blinded as a physical attacker. That's not really good. So yeah, make sure to use green sphere and victory handband. Another option is the pearl earring. If you're fighting a boss that doesn't have any blind but has seal instead, use the pearl earrings plus to give him another 30 strength and resisting seal 100%. Now, some of the bosses in this chapter do have blind, which is why I recommend the green sphere, but the pearl earring can definitely work. You can also use the white bracelet for 100% blind immunity. Now let's talk about our trustworthy healer, Kloe. Kloe is my personal favorite party member in Trails in the Sky, and she was also my favorite in the original game. I just love her ability to save your ass in a pinch. The main reason why she is very good is her ultimate, her S-Craft Lift Christ. This is basically an emergency button. You want her to be able to stay alive and revive, heal all HP, and shield all allies as soon as you click the button, right? Because S-Crafts are usable anytime you want. So as soon as like at least 2 party members are dead, just click that button, revive them both at the same time, heal your entire party, shield your entire party. It is crazy. So what does that mean? That means one thing. You want Kloe to survive. You want Kloe to survive. And that's also another reason why we wanted to play the Estelle tank aggro build, in which she uses the sweet aroma orbments to catch aggro from others. But you do want to make Kloe as tanky as possible, just in case. Starting with equipment. So I gave her my second skull pendant plus. Technically you could have more than 2, but it's pretty expensive to not only buy one but upgrade one. So for now I have 2 of them, one on Estelle, one on her. 2000 HP is crazy. Death blow resistance is very good, because you don't want your healer, who needs to be the last one standing, to get one shot, so you do want that. Now the second one is a must have. Just don't risk it. I mean, bro, personally, even if the boss doesn't have mute, I usually just keep this on because I don't want to risk it. I don't remember every single boss, what every single boss has. So getting your healer and spellcaster muted is really bad. So having the Glam Choker plus, make sure to upgrade it to reach 100% immunity, is very good. Getting 30 ATS is also very good, because it will be your main caster in this chapter. So let's put the Mind 2 here. Now the Mind 2 might get replaced depending on the fight and the boss and the build, and depending on the difficulty you're playing on. But we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So if you watched my boss arc build guide, you remember that I told you guys that there's 3 quartz you usually want on every single caster, and that is cast 2, EP cut 2 and mind 2. If they're casters, you want mind, EP cut, and cast every time. Now, this time, we don't have any big arts we want to reach. We just want this girl to stay alive as long as possible and do her job. So, we also want her to act as often as possible, because one really good thing Kloe can do except her arts, besides her arts, is her camphor craft. Her camphor craft is one of my favorite in the game. I abused that shit in the original game, but in the original game, it was single target. Now, it's AoE. Now, why do I like this? Because it is one of the few ways to debuff the defense of the enemy and the strength of the enemy quickly. This is very, very good because some enemies in this game hit so hard that you really want this camphor to be on them, like, literally at all time. So make sure to cast this whenever you don't need to heal. And that's why we want the Action 2. Like I said, Action 2, you should have it on every single character. Action 2 is a mandatory quartz. Now, we have 2 other slots. Put HP 2 and Defense 2. Make her as tanky as possible. Now, the problem with this is that she doesn't have access to Latira. Latira requires 4-2-2. So what is she lacking here? She's lacking wind. An alternative to this, if you're not using Kloe offensively, you could replace Mind 2 and sacrifice some of your magic damage to give her heal. Heal is a water quartz, so it will fit, and it gives you an extra 2 wind, which will be enough to unlock Latira, which means you can replace Septium Vein by either Defense 2 or HP 2. Also, I say HP 2, but you already have HP 2 here. So technically, you could put Heal 2 here, and then Defense 2 or Mind 2 in this position. This will be a way better build. So yeah, heal here is very good because it does give you access to Latira, and it opens 1 slot to make her your Kloe tankier with either Defense 2, or you make her stronger with Mind 2 to hit harder. So yeah, that would be my build for Kloe. If you're hesitating between Mind 2 and Defense 2, I do recommend going for Defense 2 because she really wants to be as tanky as possible so she can stay alive and res her teammates with her ultimates. So yeah, that was it for Kloe. Let's move on to the last party member. Now, let's talk about Agate real quick. So, in terms of orbments, you don't have that much work to do because he comes with very good orbments, orbment setup. But, I always say orbments, but I'm talking about quartz. I always mix the two. But anyways, let's talk about accessories for now because he doesn't come with any accessory. So, I like giving him the white bracelet. Gives him 80% accuracy, which guarantees that he hits pretty much everything because now he reaches 165 accuracy with a hit to orbment and this. So, this is very, very good. Make sure you never miss. Now, the reason why you sometimes want more than 100% accuracy is because some enemies, their dodge stat lowers your accuracy. So you sometimes want more than 100. So then when it's reduced, it's still above 100 and guaranteed to hit. So here are resist blind 100% is very good. Now, for the second slot, you have many, many choices. First of all, using your T anklet for 7 speed is not bad. The proxy puppet, if you have any proxy puppet accessory, they're pretty good. The thing is, they are very expensive and they are one-time use. So I like to keep them for the later stages of the game, especially a proxy puppet L. I like to keep it for the end game because in my memory, the last dungeon of the game, the final dungeon, is the hardest part of the game. So something like a proxy puppet L, which gives you 80 defense in both defenses, recovers 90% HP if you get killed, is insanely good. I don't want to risk wasting it in the early game, but you can definitely use it if you want to. I personally like going simple. You can also use Pearl Earring Plus, Strength plus 30, Resist Steel, very, very good. But I am a big turn-based gamer, and I am a big speed enjoyer because of that. I like playing as often as possible, so I give him the Colorful Scarf, gives him 7 speed, and gives him 15 strength, 15 in both defenses. Pretty solid overall. He doesn't really care about the ATS, but yes, Colorful Scarf, White Bracelet, both pretty good. These are the orbments he comes with. Actually, I think he comes with a Strike 2. I gave him a Ruby Shield because Strength when critical health, and he does make himself lose HP, so it could come in handy. But Strike 2, obviously, honestly, pretty good, if not better. Critical hit is insanely good on physical attackers. Action 2, you don't change this one. It's pretty much mandatory. Hit 2, plus 20 strength. Don't change this one. It's pretty much mandatory. you can't unlock this for now. So the only one we really need to talk about is the last slot. So he does come with a lot of HP. I like giving him HP too, so that he becomes tankier. But Break 2 is an option for even more strength, and Defense 2 is an option to make him tankier. Since we have tank aggro Estelle and Kloe with her broken ult, I just like going full balls to the wall with Break 2 and ignore the option to make him tankier. Yes, Agate's section was very, very quick because he comes with very good orbments, and he's very, very simple to build because he sucks at casting magic. You really just, because, you know, he has 3 lines. He's really made to be a physical attacker, balls to the wall, just nuke those enemies. So yeah, that was it for Agate Krosner. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know sometimes it gets pretty long. I do yap a lot about these builds, but that's just because I'm passionate about turn-based RPGs and about Trails. Like I said many times, the original game is one of my favorite games of all time. I really love this game. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support your boy, and also to not miss the next guide, because I will be making a lot more. Look forward to a guide about droplets, which characters to use them on. Look forward to a guide about different accessories, must-have arts, and obviously I'm working on a character tier list for the end game, because for those who don't know, at the end of the game you can choose which characters to use among all the 8 that you can play in the game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to not miss any other Trails video. You can also join the Discord in the description. There's a bunch of other Trails fans or just turn-based RPG fans. We also do some giveaways sometimes. I did give away a free copy of this game the day before it came out. So if you don't want to miss that for the sequel maybe, or another game, make sure to join the Discord. It was Aquano. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!